Time. Okay. You can bang it.
Oh, all right. In that case, I call the first meeting of 2025, the BBAA Amateur Astronomers, January 3rd at Chemical Rec Center to order. All right, well, first of all, good evening, everyone, and on behalf of the BBAA, thank you. I hope everyone had a fine and fantastic new year. I'd also like to start off by thanking George Reynolds for his efforts and his continued along with it. The support's a great cause. I hope everyone will consider buying some tickets, and if you know anybody who might be interested in a small, highly portable telescope, and it's a great prize for the victor. Comes with a carry case and a couple of accessories. Next, I want to thank everybody for finding their way to Chemical Rec Center here for the first meeting, since we don't have the TCC site available to us. Expecting that will probably change here next month.
So this is... Alright, so just give me a second. I'm trying to figure this out. This is my first time doing this. Our funds are the memberships we do for renewal last month, and our scholarships were fully covered. And the motion would be to accept the report unanimously at 7:44. Secretary's report, Eddie was not in attendance. That was his old his last name was secretary, so your report was there to give. So we went straight into the Alpha report that Bruce will probably be doing again later tonight, discussing like the presentations that were going on, how the March 2025 Reflector magazine will only be digital due to a new printer. Update on T Corona Borealis for those of you who are still waiting for the star to go nova, and yada yada. Then we did old business at 7:57 p.m. and then we did new business at the same time, and then we led straight into observing reports at 7:58. Just a couple of those, and then at 8:06 p.m. is when we did our special program, which was on the Cadwell War Marathon. Which was a video from the sky at night, and talking about winter targets to be seen over the next couple of months, including the Pleiades, Orion Nebula, the Phantom Galaxy, and many others. Also worth noting is that, again, as Jerry mentioned at the start, Jordy June raffle ticket price is ongoing, $5, and there's your big fancy prize right there. And then meeting was adjourned at 8:42 p.m. and which was, I believe, ahead of schedule, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe we target to end at like 9 o'clock, so we were ahead of schedule that night. Yeah, that's all I've got. I mean, again, this is
very detailed.
Thank you. And motion to accept the minutes.
I would like to accept the first reading of the treasurer's minutes in the past 5 years.
Secretary's report.
Motion, and it's been seconded. All in favor of accepting the first secretary's report minutes and read it for us in 5 years? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, motion carries.
All right.
I had one about 3 years ago.
All right.
Okay, so 3 years. We'll amend.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
All right. Are there any questions?
Nope.
All right.
Thanks, Rick.
All right. You're welcome.
Our treasurer, Rich Roberts, was unable to make it this evening, which required some convolutions there at the end. But he did submit a written report. Most specifically, we ended the year with a balance of $13,492.36. That is an increase of $1,357.19 during the month, primarily due to membership renewals, as they are due before the end of the year, which will come back up in a minute. We are also up in total $2,592.26 for the year 2024. We ended the year with 212 members on the roster. That includes 6 new members added during the month of December. Annual dues were due on the 31st. We currently have 104 members who are delinquent in those dues and are now into our 1-month grace period. Personal emails will go out to all the delinquent individuals. I think maybe delinquent is a harsh term. Those that still owe their renewal, it's a little more than usual. So if you haven't submitted your renewal and don't want to get a personal email from Rich, I recommend you go ahead and submit that. Actions for the treasurer in the month of January are to renew our PO box, get our insurance paid. Our insurance is active, we're just waiting on the bill, so we're to get that paid through, and do the taxes for the club. In answer to the question that George has asked a few times, he has submitted the invoice for Boardwalk Astronomy, but needs to follow up. It hasn't been paid even though it was sent in November. Are there any questions that anyone in the group has regarding the treasurer's report or anything that I can relay to him?
So I just signed up in December. I don't know if that was for the previous year or if that counts for this year, but it was like early December when I called out to renew it.
It's probably for the next.
You should be okay. If you would follow up with me after the meeting, we'll make sure we get a message over to Rich and make sure we get that straightened out for you. If you joined for the first time at the end of December, I think that we should, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, how much are the dues and what are the payment methods?
So our dues are, sorry? $23 for the year. We will accept cash or check in person. I don't know that we have the ability to take Square here tonight.
I forgot it.
I may have one in here. But primarily on the website, it's through PayPal.
Okay.
So any of those methods that work for you, we can find a way and a time to make that work.
And I guess when does this reminder go out again?
So the reminder will go out sometime in the month of January. We sent out one blast email to the whole club, unless you had your please don't email me about anything indicator ticked on the Night Sky Network, in which case you don't get the emails. But he will also send a follow-up email in January to remind people to
So what would be the quickest way to find out if I paid or not?
So the easiest way to find out would be to send an email to treasurer@backbayastro.org and inquire. But because sometimes people pay several years in advance, and Rich annotates that down accordingly. Did that answer all your questions?
Yeah.
Good questions.
Yeah.
Sir.
Are you able to pay tonight?
We will definitely accept cash or check tonight. If you want to pay via card, then we have to make sure that we have the tech available to do it.
You can do it right on the website too.
Oh, that's true.
It's not secured,
It is, yes it is.
but.
The transaction takes place on PayPal. Our website is not HTTPS.
Our Wi-Fi is not secured.
So that's true, the PayPal site. Yeah, I probably. Yeah.
But they're doing it on their phone, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, if you're doing it on your phone, you're doing it.
You're not, like, I would not walk over to that computer and type your stuff in because you don't know German.
I mean, it's not my laptop, but.
Even better, so we
Yeah.
know who's done this.
No, great points, great questions. And for the low price of $23, you get the warm feeling of supporting amateur astronomy in the local region. You also get a membership with the Astronomical League, which entitles you to all of their mailings as well as the observing programs and awards that they're associated with. And it goes to fund all of our events and general expenses. So yeah, go right here, indicate regular membership, which there's also opportunities for associate membership for your family members. Indicate that you're a new member, all that detail. Once you add it to cart, it'll push you over to PayPal, and then you can make the PayPal transaction happen, and that'll send the information on to Mr. Rich Roberts, who will get you annotated.
And you don't need
Renewal.
you don't need an account on PayPal to use it either. You can just put in your card information and it'll deduct it.
So, a great point for anyone who needs it. Any questions about this? Sir?
Does it show somewhere like you are in the annual list or something? Is there a link or somewhere? I can see if my name is there or not.
Oh, yeah, so the Night Sky Network, I think we have a link to it off the BBAA webpage.
Yeah.
It's right on the homepage.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. Is that under, just the college?
If you scroll down to those icons, George, you'll see it.
What am I looking for?
You have to use the arrow on the right side to scroll down. I don't know why it's turning on and off like that. That's,
I usually go to,
put that down there, and it comes back on.
The flaky internet.
Ours is not, it's not efficient.
It's real flaky.
What about our video playing is causing that?
Oh, that could be the thing.
Yep. I jiggled it, it came back last time.
Oh, it's the cable?
Or both.
Oh, well. You were you wanted to do the next guy network? We just turned it on.
There you go. Good job.
Go figure.
I don't wanna take credit for that.
Flaky, flaky, flaky.
We give you credit for the good parts. Jeff and I take the blame for the bad parts. It's all my fault with the stream.
I can't even see the tabs on here. There it is. If you can see right here, you click that, and go to the Night Sky Network. You click this one, you go to Astronaut Boy. So right on the homepage, just scroll below where the video is playing, and you'll see those big icons.
So once you get to the Night Sky Night Sky Network website, you log in. If you don't have a login, then that's a good indicator that you're not active. But you go in to log in, and it'll tell you what your current status is, and you can see yourself in the drop-down list. If you want to confirm your presence on that list tonight, just catch one of us after the meeting and we can look. All right. Any other questions regarding anything in the treasury or treasury related? If not, then I will entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report in absentia.
so moved.
Okay, it's been moved.
Second.
Right, it's been moved and seconded.
Third.
All in favor of accepting the treasurer's report, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay.
I think we have a predominant aye. Motion carries. And the treasurer's report is accepted. All right. Next, I call on Mr. Bruce Powers as our astronomical league coordinator for his update.
Okay, rather than torture you with our blinking display up here, I'm just gonna wing it from my own internet back here. All right, so first off, for those of you that aren't familiar, when you join the club, you get a subscription to the Astronomical League. Okay, it's up there, every 15 seconds. You know, so, anyway. So you get a subscription to Reflector magazine, okay? So our club is actually part of a consortium nationwide of over 250 clubs and about 200,000 people. So not a lot of people know that, but the Astronomical League is pretty large, and it does a lot of science outreach, and has a lot of different programs that you can participate in. My report from last month is pretty much the same as it is this month. The whole 35th year anniversary presentation is still the same as it was last month, so you can participate in that. Can you go to the next one?
But it's key for the Hubble one is that there's a different challenge each month.
Oh, there is.
And if
Okay.
you do the challenge over the course of the year,
Okay.
you go from each individual month is I think the silver level. But if you do 4 of them, 4 of the silver level, and then do some observing each month associated with what Hubble looks at,
And then
you can get the gold, which gives you a pin.
for that month as well. Okay.
So we are in swing for that. So we'll look at
Go to the next one. Okay. All right, so there's new observing program for those of you that have been around for a while and are looking for a new challenge. You need observing program coordinators for the Space Weather Observing Program, the Caldwell Observing Program, Flat Galaxies, and others. Send that guy an email if you want to receive people's observing reports and help coordinate with them. Okay? That event's over. That was in December. Scroll down. Thank you. In November,
last year.
yeah, well, click that real quick. And then click what's up. Okay, so our club is mentioned, okay, in this link. We don't need to do all that. We've got all that. Scroll down. Okay, oh, all right, again, the reflector in March is going to be digital only, so you won't see this in paper because they're switching publishers. So you'll get an email, you download it on PDF, it's easy to do, and you can read it right there. Okay. In red, digital only, scroll all the way down.
Bruce,
Yep,
was that just for March or from now on?
only March.
Okay.
So the best way to remember this is you get a piece of paper in your mailbox when it's working right, for every solstice and every equinox. So you get it 4 times a year. Okay, scroll down,
Is that March?
historian. And then the Astronomical League convention this year is in Bryce Canyon, Utah, which is supposed to be pretty dark. These are actually very well attended. There's usually over 200 people that go to these things. So if you have a chance, there's lots of great workshops and events and dark sky tours. Okay. All right, go back to the main page. And then back again, back one more back. Good. Roll down. Oh, there it is. All the way down, that's over. Oh, great. Society officers for this year, we already took care of that. Oh, okay, and the last one on the right. So, for those of you who are still waiting for T. Borealis periodic node to explode with a satisfying boom, sometime between March and November, you can track the light curve if you'd like to do those kinds of things, and everything you need to know about how to do that is there. So, Rich Roberts gave a really good presentation about, 3 months ago now, on T. Borealis.
It's on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Okay, great. So, that's what's going on with the, all the different programs, Astronomical League. I would like to also give a shout out to, Solar Observing Challenge winners. So everybody that gets a pin shows up in here. So, in 2023 and 2024, Solar Eclipse Observing Challenge recipient was Mr. Jeff Goldstein. The silver and gold level, which he discussed in great technical detail in one of our past meetings with all of his hard work to compute all of the different aspects of the solar eclipses. And then Mr. Eddie Paris also achieved silver in 2024. Okay. So, if you have any questions about the astronomical league, let me know. But this is a really good magazine. They've got, for those of you that are new here tonight, there's lots of how citizen science actually occurs. If you're curious, and you can see how different people participate. And astronomy is one of the main ways to do that.
Thanks, Bruce. And to Bruce's point about some of the information on being on there on T. Corona Borealis, like many of the observing programs, if you're not really sure how or if you're ready to get started with some of those programs, it has pointers on what to do to start doing the observations. Even if you're doing visual observing of T. Corona Borealis, it gives you recommendations on how to go about finding comparison stars to track the light levels, which can really make the program, though it may seem daunting to get started with some of these, they're actually pretty easy to get into once you just take that first step.
Did you rate all these on your spreadsheet?
I did, based on the rating that they put on there. And if you go and look on the BBAA website, there's actually a link, not on here, but on our site.
Okay. Where is that? Where did you see it?
Sean, is that under extras? Check under BBAA.
It's probably under documents.
Observing programs.
Where's that?
They're gonna BBAA to observing programs.
Oh. Got it.
Oh, yeah, this is not what I thought it was. That's all the bins.
This is not the thing. We'll send out a reminder or a pulse to the group, posted on the groups.io, but I put together a Google sheet that takes all the astronomically observing programs, tells you information like what size telescope they recommend using, whether it's imaging or whether it's visual observing only, whether you can use a remote imager to do it. Basically set it up so that you can find the program that you want based on what your level of comfort, level of interest, and how you want to go trying out something different is in there, along with handy links to some of the directions, as well as if there is an observing guide available through the Astronomical League store, which can really help accelerate things along, especially if you're trying to track down globular clusters.
Oh gosh. So to Jeremy's credit, he actually kind of rated these by level, beginner level. So
Beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
yeah, if you are a beginning amateur astronomer, I don't recommend that you do the globular cluster program or anything close to it. If you have a child, they have numerous sky puppy programs here that your children can participate in. So you don't need to, be able to track, the motion of Jupiter's moons or anything like that right off the bat.
I recommend the lunar award,
Right.
that's one of the easiest ones, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a large bright object for that, so check that out, it's easy, and so are the binocular programs. So Jeremy did a good job spraying all those out, and looking at the level that you.
So we'll send out a pulse to that for everybody's interest. Okay. We do not have Ben here for the scholarship committee, but we're about to get into scholarship committee season for this next upcoming year. So if there's anybody who's interested in assisting, please reach out to myself or Jeff to see if we can get you referred over to Ben to help him out picking recipients for next year. Next, East Coast Star Party Committee. Do you have anything specific?
So the East Coast Star Party for the spring right now is scheduled at Chipmunk State Park. It's March 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. Where's is this one here? Hey, can you put those dates up there?
Yeah, we got it up
They're already
there.
on. This is the old.
Oh, they are?
On there.
You see how quick I work?
So it says November.
It's not updated. So
Okay, can we update that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so, the new dates are gonna be, March 27th, 29th, 30th. So I've seen a lot of chatter on Facebook about, oh my God, this conflicts with the Staunton River Star Party in March. Yes, in fact, it does conflict with the Staunton River Star Party, but here's how we arrived at that date. Basically, there are 4 new moon weekends between February, March, April, and May. So, nobody likes to freeze in February, and nobody likes to cook in May. So you have new moon weekend left for March and April. We approached Chipmunk State Park and said, what dates are open? And they said, we already have a large event scheduled for the new moon weekend in April. So, there you go, it's in March. So if you're hardcore, you can go to Staunton River and then come all the way back and come to ours. But there's basically no way to deconflict, new moon weekends with 5 different star parties going on throughout the state of Virginia. So we do the best we can, and so that's why we picked it up. So we've had a lot of success. We've done this now 3 times, fall of 23 and twice in 24, spring and fall, and everybody has a lot of fun. Everything you need to know about the East Coast Star Party is on this fine website created by Mr. Sean Logan, and how to register, where you can camp, where you cannot camp, what the etiquette is, it's all there. So I would recommend, if you are interested in camping at the campsite, which I do with an RV, that you reserve your campsite now, because the campsites book up.
Yeah, it might be too late already.
And same for cabins. I haven't checked if they're available, but there are a few at the park that, if they're still available, they're not too far from the observing field.
Jeff got a cabin in March.
Okay.
No, we have not decided a fall date yet, because the ranger has not gotten back to me yet on the availability of the fall dates. We ended up dodging several of Virginia Indian tribes from events in state parks at that time. So as soon as I know the availability of that, I'll let you know.
There's a place for RVs, not a campground. In the park.
Yes, yeah, so, on the map here, on the site, if you wanna go to ECSP, location, observing field 1 and 2, show up there.
Map, here's a map.
I think it's under the observing field line.
Oh, no, wrong one.
ECSP, observing field, go there.
Scroll.
There used to be a map there.
Put your, well, you can't do it without a wheel. Maybe I need to change the website. You need to scroll in the inner window.
Text there.
Scroll right.
No, in the inner,
inner box. Scroll bar.
Oh,
There's another scroll bar, there you go.
oh, I see.
Scroll the outer bar again.
Yeah, all right. So, in answer to your question, basically, if you zoom in on this, okay,
We observe here,
yes,
this area,
right,
this is the,
right here. Yeah, so that, in answer to the question, that's what's called the sawmill area. So if you have a RV that's over 20 feet long, it needs to go in that, so, and, there, stop. Okay, yeah, Michael, I forget Michael's last name. Heiser, yeah, he puts his 35-foot rig in there, and the reason is because it's a hard surface, and if it rains, you can get in and out of there. If you go on the field at range, you're not coming out there, you're pulling out with a tow truck. Okay?
and the park is pretty firm on the 20-foot limit. We did ask for a variance last year because it was so dry, and the region said no. So they asked, we're told no.
So, it's really not a problem, you have the boondoggle, but it's
Where's the observing field?
right there, that, all those red.
Yeah, if you've been to
Oh, I
Chipotle,
see it.
this area up here is actually where their barns are, and this, behind that is a cow pasture.
Mhm.
We observed, we set up in the field, generally arrayed in front of the barns.
Yeah, so if you're worried about leaving your expensive equipment there overnight, unattended, I do it every time I go there, and nobody's ever stolen anything.
This is the southern exposure, so most of the stars are in the southern sky, Sagittarius, Scorpius, and so forth in the summertime, Leo, and Virgo in spring. So that's a nice clear field. It even has a good northern exposure too, so it's really a good site.
With some light pollution from
With a
winds.
little light pollution from the city.
But basically, it runs, Thursday at 2 until Sunday at 11 a.m. And from the sawmill area to the observing field, it's like a 1-minute walk. It's not far at all.
Bruce, when are you, planning on opening up registration? Is it gonna be
Right
February
now.
1st? You
Right
want me to
now.
open that now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will update the
You
website.
get the new date on there, then we can open it up.
I'll do it at the same time.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. The next committee is actually the nominating committee, which as of right now, I'm still, I guess, the chairman of. We're a year away from elections, so I'm going to table that one further and we'll find a new chairman for that committee, so that we can make sure we have the right folks coming in instead of the wrong folks like me standing up here in front of you. Next committee is the refreshments committee, which George Reynolds has previously volunteered to, and I'm curious whether you're actually looking to resurrect the refreshments committee?
Sure.
All right. In that case, I now officially designate you as the chairman of the refreshments committee. I'm happy to assist in serving on it, and I encourage anyone who would like to assist George and myself in making sure that we have appropriate refreshments for our observing times as well as meetings.
What I used to do back in the olden days is bring in a couple coffee pots and hot water, so you had hot chocolate, coffee, cookies at a club meeting.
We'll get that resurrected, and I'll throw some money at you to good thing we'll figure it out inside to get it.
Some money left over for us.
Perfect. All right, that is all we have as far as committee reports, unless there's somebody I missed. All right. Moving on, next order of business is old business. Our only item of old business that carry over from last month is business cards. Sean, do you have any updates on what we want to do? I know you said we still have some.
We have enough to make it through the spring.
Okay.
I just need to go to TCC. I'm gonna try to get there early enough next meeting to take the photo that we need to put on the back of the card.
Perfect.
That's all.
All right.
I mean, it's ready to go other than that. I could order right now if you want to reuse the old photo back.
So since they did all that landscaping over at TCC, it might be advantageous to put a new image up there. So we'll.
If anyone is going to be by TCC and wants, like during daylight, and take the photo and send it to me, then I can update the card and do it, because I only go over there on meetings in that whole area, so.
Where do you want the picture? I live like 2 minutes from here.
From the parking lot is where you're getting onto the sidewalk at the parking lot. That's where I would take the photo, so people can see from the lot where do we need
Where
to
you
go.
walk in, you go back to
Yeah,
the side.
back to the sides over there.
I'll shoot it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Send it to, well, I'll tell you afterwards. I'll give you my email.
Okay. Next, a few items of new business. I made a promise to some folks to bring this item up. Some of you may have received an email about a telescope price fixing settlement, which is not a sentence I ever expected to say out loud. But apparently there was a settlement amongst Celestron, Meade, Orion, and a few others that they colluded to fix the prices of amateur telescopes. Some of you may have gotten an email about this. If you live outside the state of Virginia, you might be eligible for it. But if you look in the details, it looks like Virginia is not one of the locations covered by the settlement. That said, you're certainly welcome to apply for it regardless and see what happens. It looks like there was $32 million that was assigned to the class action. So if you want to try and get your piece of that. Not realizing that Virginia wasn't part of it, I put in for my son's Celestron first scope, which was about $40. We'll see what happens.
You know what years time
It
frame
was,
covered?
off the top of my head, no, but it's a fairly large time frame. Ended in November or September of 2023, but it reaches back,
94 or 2004 or something.
Yeah, it was
Go to the back, so if you want any scope, like, you might set a power seeker or
Right.
something like that. You got.
yeah.
Is there somewhere on Celestron that you?
No, it's on telescope settlement.
For the year that your scope.
So if you go to the-
I have was made.
Yeah, if you go to the, it's not when the
Serial
scope was
number or
made,
something?
it was when you purchased it. Because the issue is apparently that some of the third-party resellers of these telescopes were also complicit in it, so it was based on not when the scope was made because of defects in craftsmanship, but when the scope was purchased because of collusion in pricing. So it's based on when you bought it, not,
Right, I mean, I'm assuming they sell their telescopes within a year or two, I would think.
presumably, but
Maybe not.
when you go through to fill out the application for it, it does ask you for some evidence of it. I had to go and pull my invoice from Amazon to show the date that I purchased it. Right.
Telescope7.com.
My big job, I actually don't have an invoice for, but it turned out it was also 3 months too late, and it wouldn't have had it. 32 million. Now, most of that is probably going to the attorney. Telescopesettlement.com. We may not get anything from it, but it may be worth the 5 minutes it takes to look it over, especially if you drove up from North Carolina. I think that is one of the Next item I'd like to bring up to everybody, I'm looking at, we've discussed in the past outreach events with our, all the things we do with the local clubs, after hours here, over at the botanical gardens, during the day with schools. They're a lot of fun to do. I will tell you that I myself was scared to go and do my first outreach event because I wasn't really sure what the expectation was, how it went, other than just your normal Skywatch over at Northwest River Park, because that's pretty easy. But when you're actually having to talk to somebody, it's kind of difficult. One glorious evening, George was sadly feeling under the weather and asked me to spot in for him at the Garden Stars, and I suddenly realized that, well, it's okay for me to be nervous, but I have to do it anyway. And I did, and it was a blast. Now, I imagine there are probably more people in the club who are interested in doing outreach, but feel like it's a little scary, it's a little hard, I don't know what the expectations are, I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. I'm just putting this out to the group. I'm gonna put together any volunteers for an outreach training team for people who might be interested in supporting outreach events, but are intimidated by doing it, so that you don't have to feel like you're jumping in all alone without any sort of support or help or guidance. I encourage folks, please reach out if you're interested in supporting the team because you're a storied, skilled veteran outreacher, or you're someone new that just is willing to try, but you don't want to fly perfectly alone the first time. Please let us know.
Just show up at the event.
That's obviously also an option, but it's an open invitation to people who aren't really sure what they want to do. Next item of new business, something that has been up for discussion is, Sean, I'm sorry, I'm not putting you on the spot this evening, but I'm going to bring up the topic for further discussion if warranted. Doing a series of workshops to help people develop the equipment that they need to further support and develop their hobby. Sean, would you like to speak to what some of the things that have up for discussion?
Sure. We've done it in the past. We did a solar filter workshop, where we've done it at one of the old members' houses, and we did it at Elizabeth River Park. And you just show up with your telescope. We have the material to custom make the filter. You need your telescope at the time because the measurements are too exact. We want to make sure it's not fit on there, it doesn't fly off in the wind. And then we also did dew meter workshop at Jim's house. That was years ago. I'm working on a different design that's going to be similar to what you go buy at the store now, where it uses the same wire that's in a toaster. The heat, because before we had solder a bunch of resistors in a ladder formation together, which is fine, you can do it that way, but they're not as flexible as the wire one, and they're a little bulkier. So that's the two. What was that? Oh, that's the two that we were looking at, and then there was something else you said too.
We were also talking about possibilities like observing chairs and similar such.
So if there's something you guys want to do, let us know, because Jeremy was talking about doing 4 workshops a year, is what he was thinking, once a quarter. And we'll meet somewhere conducive for that. The Elizabeth River Park worked that day. It was a little windy, but fortunately, Jim, did we use the back of your vehicle that time? Yeah, so he just parked into the wind and we cut the solar filters in the back of his vehicle, and it worked. I mean, it would be better. We could do that one at a library he was talking about. The soldering, you gotta do soldering. No one's gonna let you do that in the library. That's what it comes down to. So we have to do it at a member's house. You could do it at the Elizabeth River Park too, if they have a power outlet. But just something to think about it. If you guys want something done, I know, like, I got Sandy's laser colorimeter in the car right now. I didn't think you were gonna be inside, otherwise I would have brought it in, but that's something right there. Some people don't know how to collimate their laser. So, if you use one of those, don't tell Ken though.
So Sean, I'd like to ask you to let's work separately so that we have an idea of what sort of materials we'd be needing for those workshops.
Yeah, I would say that you probably need to make a motion right now to order the solar filter material. We may be okay this next one, but people are always getting it. And it's best if you just buy the big sheet of it, which is about a square meter.
Okay.
So.
Do you have an idea about how much that would be?
It was $99 even before taxes, if I remember right. So you need 2 officers, you know, to okay it type thing. But I mean, I think that's something everybody's interested in. And we charged everybody, when we bought all that material that first time, we charged everybody $25 to make their solar filter. And that covered everything. And then as many solar filters as you wanted to make too. So you break your solar filter, you already get it. You don't have to pay for it again. And I think that's really a good price for the Bader Planetarium solar filter material we're using is probably the best on the market, is what I think.
So are you proposing that we put a motion on the floor that we purchase Bader Planetarium film for an amount not to exceed, account for inflation and taxes and shipping, $150?
Yeah.
And to support an upcoming solar filter workshop?
Yes, I am.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All right, is there any discussion? All right, all in favor of purchasing the Bader Planetarium material for an upcoming filter workshop? All opposed? Right, ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, and then we'll get something similar going for NICRL, assuming we get good turnout. Location of the workshops and exact timing will be dependent, obviously, on when the materials come in.
Yeah, I would, the way we did it in the past with Chuck when he started doing this and then myself is you send out an email like using the Night Sky Network, I guess, and everybody's interested, respond back so we get a head count. So we make sure we have enough material for everybody for the workshop. That seemed to work pretty well.
Are there any other items of new business from the group?
I'd actually like to put forward a new business item. Hello, I'm Rich Neef, I'm the planetary manager at the Children's Museum. And so, hello. And I know I've been to a couple of events and then life is just so busy and my regular life kept up. And I just even attending the meetings has been a challenge. But I wanted to present, talk to you guys about, and actually this was an email conversation I had with the outgoing president. I want, in my planetarium, I want to put in, I've got, the time before the main shows, and it's just, we can put information up in the dome. And so I was hoping to put up Back Bay Astronomer-ish images. And right at that same time, I read about the Hubble Space Telescope challenges. And so to me, that was like another kind of coinciding thing. So EarthSky.org is a group out of Texas, and if you guys have been around Hampton Roads for a long time, you probably listen to the EarthSky news in the morning at like 5:30 in the morning. I used to listen to that driving into the naval base. It's like a little 90-second "What's in the Sky." Well, anyway, they have community submitted photo movies that they put together, and they're just images. It describes what it is, and it's very simple with some simple music. And I've been playing that in the dome for families. And this is not only astronomy things, but it's also just Earth things and that seasonal images. And I'm at the Children's Museum. My target audience is 2 years to 8 years old or so. I'm working with kids. But you guys, I talk about you guys basically every week, every day. In the dome, because I'm like, if this is your thing, we watch the planetarium show, and then if you want to hang out after the show, I put up the night sky, and those kids are us. Okay, they're us, and they are some geeky kids, and I've been floored several times by like 7-year-olds going, that's an interesting thought. Let's find out together. But So I'm here today to see about if people are interested in submitting, and then we put those images up to say, this is what you're looking at. This is, you know, the Horsehead Nebula taken by this person over you know, in Virginia. And even if you want to add some more details with it, because what's interesting is these images are kind of openers for some families. I don't know if you guys have had people join the club just based on me saying stuff, but I've always just say, look, it's $23. You can't beat it. Get on you look for their public events. This is what I tell everybody. They bring the telescope, you bring the kids. So it's like a win-win. So I don't know. I don't know if that's resonated out there with your guys' events or not. But also what I'm saying is these images have these little moments to say this was taken with this type of equipment in a simple kind of family-friendly way. I know that sometimes we can go deep on this equipment discussion points, but yeah, I don't know if that's you know, something that we could look into doing, and I would be interested in discussing more in depth with you on the side, or
How do we get the images to you?
so it would just be email. I would just email it to me, and then we just pull it together, and then I could add the notations on there just on top of the JPEG. I pulled down EarthSky.org's community photo rules, which they kind of lay it out, you know, just to let people know what's going on. They've thought through this a bit more than I just basically copied exactly what they put on there. But basically, you know, the type of photo it is, you know, it needs to be owned by the person who took the photo. Of course, don't contain malicious code. We can't guarantee that somebody else isn't going to take a picture of the photo and use it, you know. And if you ever want it removed, then just let us know, and you know, we'll do our best to remove it. But I'm also on your Facebook feed, and you know, that's what always inspires me as well. So anyway, I don't know.
No, I'm not an astrophotographer, largely due to lack of equipment at this stage, maybe patience.
Jeff's like, he takes photos every day.
Yeah, I see your photos all the time.
I don't know if you're on our Facebook group.
Yeah.
I think you're certainly able to throw something out. We can signal boost it. We could potentially put a link on the website for anybody who wants to submit it. Is there a release that people have to sign for those?
No, but then I also want to share, I put this forward to Professor Mason over at Old Dominion and his planetarium, and he's like, oh my gosh, I would love to put up those images as well. So we have two planetariums. Now I want to zoom out slightly, and you guys may know and follow planetarium news, but you know, we lost the Virginia Beach Planetarium and recently the Chesapeake Planetarium.
We're trying to get the Chesapeake back.
And listen, I think that there should be a full pursuit to make that happen. And it seems crazy to let that go. And I know that we're not, this is preaching to the choir moment, but it is kind of interesting to go, wait a minute, you know, that's, these are regional assets.
Class middle school? Or?
Yeah. They need help at in Hampton, and I don't know if I got to get up there just to look at it. But I'm kind of a neophyte on it. I come from the public school teaching side of things, and I've learned a lot. So let's just say I'm still learning. And I mean, I understand my system, you know, but looking at some of these other systems, you know, they're more the older systems. They could be probably pretty challenging to run. I've got mine is just as good as Old Dominion's, so we share the same, and TCC, I think, yeah. So anyway, back to, it's just the sky image displays, and I don't know if you guys are interested in pursuing that.
Yeah, happy to extend that out to the club.
Isn't everything on Facebook public domain anyway? So,
I guess.
The problem with using Facebook is when you upload an image to Facebook, it severely downgrades the resolution of that
that's
image.
true.
So you really want the original, like from Jeff C-Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you put your email out, I'll put something on Well, you emailed me about the,
Yeah, I'll email
updating
about
your
it.
information
Yeah.
there. I'll make sure and add it there, but we can put it somewhere else prominently,
Yeah.
too, so club members see it, put it on groups.io, that'd be a good spot.
And we can also reach out to ODU to see if they wanna pair it, if it's something
Yeah.
they're interested in doing. Maybe we have both emails on there.
And well, and the Living Museum up in Newport News, I'm connected with them as well pretty well. And I have not asked her if she would like to use it, but they would be another person. Like the Hampton Roads, I think just kind of honoring the Hampton Roads network, which is kind of active astronomers, and it would be really kind of fun to do, I think. If it develops a little fuller, we can put. Right now, I'm just basically still images that would fade in, fade out, but because I have other information out there as well. And in that lens, so I guess we'll just pursue it, and I'll just see what you guys think.
Okay.
The next question is putting information up. I've just been verbally telling people about events, just saying, hey, go to the website, Backbig website, go check it out. But I don't know if you want me putting up your events that are the public events on our dome or not.
We're fine with that, I think.
Yeah.
We put them all over the place, put them on Facebook, I'm
I
trying to.
mean, if you want, we have material NASA's given us, that I can give something of that to you, you can hand out, you can set it there. We've got trifold templates that we've made, like, we can give you stuff physically to hand out, but you can basically broadcast anything you want about the club.
Well, and that's, I mean, so I'd like to, I can't really put, like an advertisement necessarily, but it's astronomy events happening in the region. And it's like, hey, go to Chesapeake Park and see the sunspots and things like that. So, okay,
Yeah,
yes,
great.
I will do that.
We're trying to get the Chesapeake Parks and Rec to put us in their monthly mailer as well, so.
Okay. Well, thank you guys, and I look at the Facebook items all the time and things like that, so I really appreciate it. And actually, my son has the telescope. I don't have a telescope. And in fact, my coworkers laugh at me. They're like, "Why don't you have a good telescope?" I was like, "Well, I mean, my son uses his money, and why buy another one?"
Fair.
We'll let him
$5, you get a raffle ticket to get this one. All right, no, thank you for that. Next, I'd like observing reports. Anyone have anything to observe, or have they observed over the past month? Okay.
Well, I'm putting Jeremy in the spot with this one because this is his place. So I think it was the 22nd, so like a couple days before Christmas. I went to his place to do some observing at his house, because his house is not far from Northwest River Park, so a much darker sky, and it's got a much better horizon than my house, just a lot of trees behind it. And as I'm sure most of you know, I'm in the process of midway, I'm doing the Planetary Nebula Observing Program in the Astronomical League. And for the most part, it's been pretty smooth sailing, but there are a few deep southern objects, and the one that I was at his place to try and get that night is just when I wanted to float out to anyone who's looking for an underrated gem. The Robinson Nebula in Fornax, you also find it under the designation of NGC 1360. It's a very large planetary, not unlike the Helix in certain aspects, so large, low surface brightness, but it has a really bright central star. Probably the brightest central dwarf stars I've ever seen in the planetary. And it's in northeast Fornax, so kind of low in the sky, but it was definitely a hidden, I would consider a hidden gem of the sky. I've never heard anyone talk about it before, but I thought it was a very pretty object.
What was the number again?
NGC 1360.
I was looking at just random stuff in the night, and Gabe was training some really gorgeous objects. I'm like, all right, hey, that's great. So, if anyone is looking for a dark sky with a good southern exposure, my driveway is always there. I can't have too many cars in it at once, otherwise people will get stuck. But my southern horizon is better than Northwest River Park, and the dew problem is a lot better. So, but it's pretty much the same location. It's about just 5 minutes further up the road, so let me know. Any other observing reports? Thank you, Gabe. Okay. With that said, I'm going to turn the program over to Mr. Jeff Goldstein to discuss commentary observing, and I believe he has a video as well.
The sound is not working.
Oh,
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that great?
The sound is not working. I can't do it as good as this guy. But he's been talking about
Those
all
guys
the
are
new things. A few years ago, 2014 actually, a spacecraft, there we go, good idea. A spacecraft.
Impressive stuff NASA has done.
I've only got about 3 minutes left. And they're gonna throw us out. They're gonna throw us out. But it's pretty cool. I'll play as much as we can if you guys want to stay.
Better do that raffle.
Okay.
yeah, before you do that, let's go ahead and pull the raffle so that we don't.
Okay.
So, so for the, no, that was on one switch. So for this month's raffle prize, the Astronomical Studies Light Store has the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada's their observing guide for 2025.
Sounds good, thank you.
It's got month by month and sometimes day by day things to look at. And, went ahead and got an extra one for the group. George, would you do the honors of pulling the winning ticket?
It is. Not mine. one number off of mine. 965.
965.
Very good. Very good.
That was 964.
Go ahead and continue the video.
Talk about why comets have two tails. One tail follows the orbit of the comet. This tail is the dust tail. The dust tail is illuminated as sunlight reflects off it. The other tail consists of the volatile material, the water and carbon dioxide that outgas from the comet. This tail follows the direction of the solar wind, and these particles are illuminated through ionization and interactions with the charged particles from the sun. It is often hard to see comets with the naked eye on Earth, but every so often a comet will outgas enough material that it is visible. In the northern hemisphere, the last bright one I saw was Hale-Bopp in 1997 when I was just a kid. But I did also recently see comet Neowise in 2020. What an amazing sight it was. You guys in the southern hemisphere have been a bit luckier with comets. We've had Comet Mont North in 2007 and Comet Lovejoy.
That's the boss.
No, he's giving us that. So we're gonna have to figure out.
It's nice about setting this up. It's very good.
Yeah.
Good play here. That's the title of it. Discovery the true signs of small.
Did I get your motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Dad seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Throw us out anyway. Thanks everyone for coming out and being flexible